What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one, I want to break down what's going on with Tesla spying video, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm also going to break down some very important things that Jerome Powell said, and also Cathie Wood, as she has a $2,000 price target for Tesla. But before I begin doubles information, before I get into any more details, let me first say that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Weeble link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit $500 into the account, you're guaranteed 20 free stocks. If you deposit $25,000 or more, you're guaranteed 75 free stocks, and this offer ends in just a couple of weeks. All right, so what's happening with Tesla? Tesla has a nice structure that's developing right here as Tesla got this little drop, established a higher low, and now it's trying to push just a bit, but now we're getting kind of stuck at this resistance very close to 167.8, very close to 168 basically, and we've been shuffling a bit. SPY is also shuffling a bit, but I am seeing some bullish potential, and this could be realized later on depending on how we end up closing. So I want to break down more details about this in just a couple of minutes. Let me first talk about Jerome Powell very quickly, then Cathie Wood. So with Jerome Powell, he gave a speech today at noon. The guy basically said some very important things. He mentioned that the recent data do not materially change the overall picture, which continues to be one of solid growth, a strong but rebalancing labor market, and inflation moving down towards 2% on a sometimes bumpy path. So it's very, very important. Jerome Powell was not super dovish this time around. He does expect the Fed to cut this year, at least later this year, but he's saying that, sometimes there is a bumpy path and we have to be very careful. He also mentioned that the Fed wants more data for them to kind of like get confirmation for them to start cutting rates. Because if you look at the recent manufacturing numbers that came out and the fact that gas prices are going up alongside crude oil, there are some indicators out there that suggest inflation is not done with and it could actually go up again. So you want to be very careful with all this data. So, with that being said, the Fed is basically looking for more evidence that inflation is easing before they start cutting rates. All right. And he's basically implying they may not cut rates as soon as June. It may take them a while to get that data. So, they may not cut rates until later on during this year, in my personal opinion, by September, October, November, around that period. That's when they may start, and that's something very, very important. Besides that, Powell was kind of ambiguous in the middle as usual. He said the Fed does not want to cut rates too fast, but also not wait too long, causing unnecessary damage. And they're going to be very, very careful with everything, looking at more data. He did use the words bumpy path, which is not the best of words he could have used. So the market kind of had a little dip when that happened and it came back up. So it's still holding up quite well, in my opinion. The market is still kind of chopping at these high levels after what Powell said, who tended to be in the middle. So we'll have to see what happens with the later moves once we get our close and things like that. But for Tesla, we have some very, very good news, at least in Cathie Wood's eyes. Cathie Wood is saying that she has a $2,000 price target for Tesla, and now is not the time to run for the hills as the stock is falling. So she's mentioning that, looking at her bullish case for Tesla in an interview, that she sees this thing running very, very hard in the future, and she's maintaining her bullish stance. So why is Cathie so bullish on Tesla? She's saying that it has so much to do with the future of their AI development. The Optimus bot is one factor, but the big factor she's talking about is the robotaxi, not to mention FSD, and she's very confident that Tesla is going to run hard for the long-term future. So she's trying to calm down investors out there. She's saying, do not fear, do not worry too much. If Tesla is down at 160 a share, 150, 120, it does not matter, because the long term is still very, very bright for this company. She's looking at AI as a very, very big game changer, and their ability to start a robotaxi and AI to help assist people all over the world. So she thinks that the big winner for Tesla is going to be the robotaxi. The fact that they could have technology where these cars could drive themselves using FSD technology, using their neural network, and then by doing so, it's going to assist people very greatly. It's going to be a big service across the globe, and she thinks that this is going to be huge for the future. She also mentioned that other developments for Tesla from deliveries is just like a temporary thing. She's saying that this is not going to last forever with deliveries dropping. There are current macroeconomic factors getting in the way, of course, but she's still a huge bull long term, and I actually agree with her on a lot of points. She also mentioned that the Optimus robot gives Tesla even more valuation, so she's a very, very big bull. She's very, very excited for the future, and she's not letting this get in the way. The more it drops, the more she wants to buy. That's kind of like what she implied. So, with that being said, what's happening with the charts? Let's just break this down real quick. Looking at Tesla, the chart's trying to turn right here. We made a higher low relative to this low, so it's looking pretty good. We have this resistance at 160. If we break through this, look for a push for about 170 if we get a clean break. If we break that, then we have this imbalance to fill, and that can take us all the way up to about like 173.75, all the way up to where this imbalance is. There's also a gap technically up there. For support, we're going to be watching 165 as critical support. There's 167.18 and 165. If we lose 165, a bigger drop is coming. But overall, I would say that this chart has a very, very nice trend. We're making a higher low, and we have potential to push even higher from here. So I think that Tesla does have potential, but we have to wait and see how we close. If we could close above 168, it's going to look pretty good. If we fail to do so, we might not get there. It may take a little bit longer. But overall, we're just kind of shopping in this range, so we'll have to see how Tesla does. Does Tesla dip a little bit and then come back up? We'll just have to wait and see. But otherwise, we're just range bound. Same thing on SPY, kind of range bound. There was bullish momentum kind of developing on this in the morning, and now it's just been very stuck for the last 3 hours. So watch this range. If we push higher, you're going to be watching 521 as resistance. If we break through this, we could push easily towards the 522s. If we start sinking back down, watch 519.4 is support. If we lose this, a bigger dip is coming, so we'll have to see how it goes. But overall, SPY has some bullish potential if we get a close above 520.5. The chart's also starting to look a little bit more bullish as we made this high here, made a higher low, and then we're trying to break this high. We have to maintain this structure. If we turn back down, close below 520, it's going to be weak, not the best of signs. So I want to see a close above at least 520, if not 520.5, and see if SPY can keep holding. So look and see if this could hold. It's showing some life so far. Same thing on the QQQ. We had this low at 438. We came back up. We ended up testing 438.8. Then we got a big push. We want to see this thing close above 442 at the very least. If not, this 200 EMA at 442.69. If we close above that, we're going to be in a decent place. There's potential for us to get up to the notorious 446, but we want to see this thing hold very nicely and start pushing. I'm seeing some potential in this nonetheless. For Aapl, not looking the best. We did manage to push up above this resistance, hitting just under 170.68. But the issue is we're coming back down towards 170. We're not doing the best of job at holding. So we have to see if Aapl can hold our 5 EMA. So watch 170.06 to 170 as our support. If we do bounce off this, this could help the market. But if we lose this, not the best of news. So I'm going to be very patient with that. And finally, for Nvidia is kind of just like shuffling right now around 900. If we do close above 900, it's going to be a decent sign for 908 for tomorrow. If we close below it, not the best of signs. Might just continue to shuffle. There is this head and shoulders like structure on Nvidia, which gives it some weakness in my eyes. So even if we do push upwards a little bit, we could always come back down because of this structure. So you want to be very, very careful. So I'm going to be patient with the market for now. We'll see how things go going into tomorrow. Let me also add that we also have Rivian with the head and shoulders looking kind of weak like Tesla. We're going to be looking for 10.5 as support. Let me just go over a couple more. For Coinbase, trying to push a bit, but watch this 252 area, which is where we're chopping. If we close below 250, we're going to be a little bit more bearish. If we close above, we could try to hold up better, but there is a head and shoulders like structure that's still present. So even if we do pop a bit, we could come back down. So just be careful. I wouldn't fully trust this. For Amazon, we did get very close to 183, but now we're at some tight resistance. If we get a big rejection, lose 182.25, we could be sinking back down to 181.29. If we hold above or close above 183, that's going to be very strong for Amazon. So we'll just have to be patient. There's some life, but we're going to be approaching some tough resistance. For Meta, we're stuck at 505, kind of shuffling around here. If we break past 507, look for a push for 510. If we end up losing 503.5, we're going to be coming back down to 499.6. Overall, it's just kind of stuck, so we'll see which way it goes, just shuffling back and forth and back and forth. There's not really much changing. And that's the same thing that's going on with SPY, continuing to shuffle. So let's just see how we close, guys. Let's see what happens during the final hour of the day. That's when we might see more volatility. So be patient, guys. Do what you have to do, and I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Thank you for listening. As far as Tesla goes, it's showing some life now, trying to rebound a bit, but I want to see a good close. Let's see if we can close above 168. If we do so, it's going to be a decent sign. If not, it is what it is. So be prepared for all of this. Thank you all so much for listening. Have an absolutely spectacular rest of the day, and I'll see you guys very soon in just a couple of hours. Thank you for listening, and peace out.